Okay, so this episode, I'm gonna give people 33 sales training tips. So these are 33 tips on how to sell, and these are like grade A tips. So you can just download and just play this over and over again. So number one, respect their time. So always respect the time of the person you're trying to sell. Make the product you're selling seem more than the price. So if you make your product seem more valuable than the price, even with the presentation or even how you're selling it or how you're educating them. Talk about the hobbies of the customer, the person you're trying to sell. Because what you want to do, you want to build trust. So you want 40% building trust, 30% of identifying the need or the problem. So you want to identify the need. So if you're identifying, you're building trust. And then you want to present the need. So if you're presenting the need in 20%, and if you're identifying at 30%, then you're spending more time not showing them, because if you're showing them, you're presenting too much. So you're being pushy. So you're identifying and you're building trust because you're educating while you're identifying. So number 5, trust is the most important thing you must create. The reason that trust is the most important because trust is broad, meaning if you're educating, they're naturally going to trust you. If you're legitimate, they're going to trust you. If you know how to sell, they'll trust you. If they know that you're trying to sell them, but they trust you, then they don't care that you're trying to sell them because they trust you. Number 6, teach them things they don't know. That goes down to educating. So always teach people things they don't know if you're trying to sell them, right? That's why on this show, I always try to focus on making things simple that's complicated. So if you can make things simple that's complicated, then you always teach them what they don't know, but they'll understand it now. Instead of saying, oh, Google AdWords is this and you need click-through rate and CPV. It's like, no. You need a high amount of clicks based on what you're spending, and those clicks should be from people who want what you're selling. Simple. Know what the customer values. So that goes back to learning about the hobbies. So if you learn about the customer, you know what they value, and you can build that issue based on what they value. So if you're selling pet cleaning and you say, oh, I value a clean home. Well, you can present to them how you always make sure the dog is completely dry so the dirt doesn't get on the floor or something, right? Or the wetness doesn't get on the floor because they value the clean home. Or you can be like, oh, we do a repeat clean if this or something, if the dog poops on your floor or something, I don't know. But that's just what I'm saying. If you know what they value, you know how to present and identify the issue based on that. Don't be afraid to talk about money. That's a big one. If you have trust and you can talk about money while you're building trust, and then it'll happen naturally. Because to me, money shifts the conversation, no matter what you're talking about. Even a good salesman knows that the money talk is coming. So if they know that you're afraid to talk about money, then the trust is going to be out the window, because that's the one mutual conversation that you're going to have. Because you don't know their hobbies, you don't know them, but you know that you both have money. You both don't know each other, but you know that this conversation is going to come down to money. Like, take me, for example. I teach and I help people make money on their own online store, right? I mean, I focus on Shopify, but it's pretty much the methods they're synonymous, right? So what is the main factor in that? It's money. If I have to make them money and they have to pay me money to make them money. So If we're talking about hobbies or whatever we're talking about, then we know at the end it's going to come down to money, because that's the conversation that's what triggered the conversation in anyway. So teach and take control. So if you're teaching somebody and you're taking control of it, now you're establishing dominance without being too presentative, right? So you can teach and you have a skill set, but not being too, don't make the customer feel dumb. Just make the, take a doctor plumber effect, right? Approach. Dr. Plumber, right? So Dr. Plumber, the doctor knows more about the body than you do, and the plumber knows more about the piping than you do. But you know that, oh, my heart hurts, or I might have a leaky faucet. So you can explain why they have a leaky faucet, why their heart hurts. But you don't want to tell them you're going to die, right? But you have control because they know the problem. 80% people, 20% product. So you want to always focus on the people, the issue, the need, the hobby, why they started the store, how the store is doing, like what have been the issues with the store, blah, 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 right? Or whatever product, right? I'm speaking from my perspective. So if you're selling, let's say you're selling jewelry, right? Well, what type of jewelry do you like? Do you like silver? Do you like gold? Or why did you do this? Or, oh, maybe I like silver, but silver, it's easy to get. I don't know. It's waste. If I waste something on it, then the silver, it goes away, and and I don't like. Like people have different issues with different things, right? So that, but it deals with the product, but it's about the person, right? So now you can be like, oh, I have stainless silver or whatever, right? I don't know about jewelry. I'm just saying. I have a jewelry that can stain. Oh, you do? You have that? And it's like, boom. Now you know the person, you know how to recreate what you have. And you can teach and then build rapport, show the value, and then boom, it'll naturally happen. 5 times before, yes, be consistent on issue without being annoying. So 5 times, usually you have to persuade, sell to 5 times. So it's like 5 times. Oh, let's say you had to present your price 5 times. Like, oh, it's cost me $30,000. It cost you $30,000. It's like, okay, but I need to do this. And it's like, okay, well, we can do this and we can do that. And like, with the $30,000, okay. And then they're like, okay, but then we're gonna go and then we're gonna do the Facebook, and then you're gonna make more with this, and boom, boom, boom. So okay, it's $30K, and then we're gonna switch the website, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna fix your titles, we're gonna fix your description, blah blah blah. Okay, 30. That's 4 times, and then go back over. And we're gonna update your products. We're gonna make sure your products are better. We're gonna make sure the store is optimized. We're gonna make sure you're using the right apps. We're gonna speed optimize everything. Redo your email, blah blah. That's 5 times. I mentioned price, but I stretched it out into what I'm offering after mentioning it, and then boom, it's like okay, boom, sale close, right? So you 5 times before, yes, even if it doesn't take 5 times, you should be able to present something within that 5 times of someone saying, not necessarily saying no, but not saying yes. And even if they say yes, give them more value and then know when to close. Okay, so ask more than you tell. Questions are the answer. So always ask more than you tell and build value with questions. So if you know questions, you know you're presenting, you know what the issues are, because the question shifts the conversation, because no one wants to feel like an idiot. So they're going to answer a question, or they'll just hang up a phone, right? So you can shift the conversation any way you want with a question, unless they don't want to answer it. If they don't answer it, then there's no conversation. So educate and build value. Where we at? 10 minutes. Ooh, this is a long. Educate and build value. I'm going to rush through this list. Be interested in them. Mirror the customer. Have a sense of humor. Always know exactly what you're going to say. Make the closing easy as possible. Make it easy to buy and transfer the conversation to an amount the customer can buy. So always maneuver the conversation. Even if you don't have a flat rate, you can always maneuver it. Don't overcome objections, prevent objections. That's a big one. Like even with copywriting, like you can overcome, you can prevent the objection before the call is issued. So you can be like, oh, we do this, and they don't ask you what you do. Some people will do because they don't read, but you're preventing certain conversations so you don't have to overcome it. Have a personality. Focus on reaching an agreement. That's a big one. Create emotional connection with the issue, right? So if you can create an emotional connection with the issue, so let's go back to Dr. Plumber, right? So the plumber, if you can create, so a plumber say, oh, you have a leaky faucet. Oh, the floors might get rust or something. You might build rust in the floors. Now you've created an emotion because, oh, the kids might this and that. And so you created emotion, or the pipes might bust now. There's a potential of the pipes busting, right? So now you created an emotional issue, connection with the issue. Hard on the problem, soft on the people. So if you're hard on the problem, so if you go hard on the problem and not the person. So if their pipes are busted, or let's take a doctor too. So Dr. Plumber, right? So let's just say a person, their lungs are bad, right? And you'll be like, oh, the lung, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to clean the lung out. We're going to give it more oxygen or blah, blah, blah. Instead of saying, oh, you need to stop smoking cigarettes. You need to stop doing this. You need to, you know what I'm saying? So you're not hard on the person. You're hard on the problem, right? So you can be like, oh, yeah, maybe you should stop smoking cigarettes. We're going to clean out your oxygen. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That way, even if they have COPD or whatever, they got lung disease, they got all kind of craziness, you'll still say, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to give you oxygen. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And just stop smoking cigarettes. And then they're going to walk out the doctor's office and then they're going to probably smoke another cigarette. But you were hard on the problem and you got paid anyway. So you're hard on the problem and not the person. And that's the same with plumbing, right? So if they got a leaky faucet, you're like, oh, and they don't have no tools in the house or no guys in the house, or the guy's like sitting on the couch smoking weed or something. It's like, oh, you need to get a torque wrench. You need to get a wrench. You need to get some better tape. You need to fix the faucet. It's easy. All of this is one screw. You could have did that yourself. He's like, no, I'm just going to get a screw. I'm going to tighten it up. It's going to cost $50 and I'm going to leave. So you're hard on the problem and not the person. Now that's like, I made it like crisis mode, but you get the concept. Always believe in what you're selling. So you have to know that what you're selling is good. If you know what you're selling is good, then it sells itself and you'll sell yourself better, which is that's just naturally happen. So make them feel guilty for doing business with someone else. That's a tough one, but it can be done. Be enthusiastic. That's self-explanatory. Know more than you talk. That's a good one. So if you know more than you talk, then what you're saying is naturally valuable because you're just presenting what you know. So I'm at 14. Okay, so create a strong desire and make it hard for them to say no. Expect success. Assume they will buy. Have quality personality and focus on the environment. So that's a big one. If you focus on the environment, you can create the type of environment and you can build emotion. So boom, that's 33. I'm at 14 minutes, so I have to close on that. So I think the biggest one is don't overcome objections, prevent objections. That's like gold. So yeah, that's 33 sales.